Alright, and just like that, we are in the NBA Finals, where we may or may not see Drake in a couple of weeks holding the NBA trophy, because at this point, I just don't put anything past what's going on. We have now seen him successfully hotline bling Klay Thompson mid-game. We've seen him pick the lint out of Steph Curry's hair. We've seen him allegedly call Draymond Green trash, all while wearing Dell Curry's Toronto Raptors jersey, which he allegedly had to get from like 500 miles away, because let's be real, where would you even find a Dell Curry Raptors jersey? Like, if it's not the superstar of a team and it's a team from 20 years ago, where do you even find these jerseys? So yeah, love her to hate it, Drake is successfully working his way into NBA Finals history. And if you follow me on Twitter, you may or may not have successfully worked your way into this video, because we're going through Unpopular Opinions NBA Finals Edition. There was a lot of interesting sentiments here. So immediately we have that the Finals MVP is way too circumstantial and should be changed to Playoff MVP. This was actually, dare I say, popular in the thread. There was a couple of people who said this, and one of them had a lot of likes. Like, people seem to really think there should be just a playoff MVP. And I don't know if everyone wants to do away with the Finals MVP, but I wonder how you would even do this. Like, if a player comes in and averages, let's say, 37 points in the first round, but they get knocked off in that round, or they get knocked off in the second round, do they still end up getting playoff MVP? Like, how does that work? Because I feel like no matter what, you have to go the distance to even have a chance to be crowned playoff MVP. And as far as Finals MVP being circumstantial, I mean, yeah, I guess, because it's for one series. We had the series in 2013 where Danny Green could have easily been Finals MVP. Like, I believe he had set the record for most threes in a series, or in a final series. He was like the total opposite of 2019 playoff Danny Green, and he really, if they would have won, he had a great shot to be Finals MVP, although Tim Duncan's Game 6 performance might have erased that. But yeah, as far as it being circumstantial, it also ensures that the person on a losing team is going to come from the winning team pretty much no matter what. It's only ever been given to the losing team one time in history. That was Jerry West. Then you had 2015 come up, where a lot of people felt like LeBron James should have got it, but they gave it to Iguodala. But I don't know, I guess how you value the Finals MVP is up to you, but I just don't see a way to really make a playoff MVP worth actually having an award for. And I definitely don't think it's worth having two awards, like having a Finals MVP and then also having a playoff MVP. I don't know. I'm not into like splitting up awards and having an award for everything. Finals MVP ain't perfect, but I don't think playoff MVP could come any closer to being perfect. Change the format back to 2-3-2. No, thank you. To me, the 2-3-2 format was like almost giving the team that didn't have home court advantage, it gave them a great chance to steal the series, because 3 straight home games, I think that was series changing in a lot of circumstances. It almost makes the team with home court advantage work for the right to have a Game 7 on their floor. I'm good. I like it being like the way the rest of the playoffs are. Best of 3 would be better. Whoa. Nah, I can see some teams finessing their way into a title this way. The reason I love the way the NBA goes as far as playoffs is because it leads to the results being the way they're supposed to be, because if you beat a team 4 times, unless there was some other circumstance like injury or something like that, to beat another team 4 times, to me that is a definitive ending. Like, you deserve that series if you were able to do it 4 times. That's why it's fun to imagine something like single elimination, or if it took less games to win a series, but being honest, that's why upsets, that's why they're called upsets, because for a team to get that done 4 times is a really special thing, and it also makes the upsets it gives them more weight. Like, for instance, the Celtics were almost upset multiple times, back in 2009 against the Bulls, back in 08 against the Hawks and Cavaliers. Those would have been like all-time headlines if any of those teams had gotten off 4 games off the Celtics, except for the 09 Bulls, because KG was out that year, so that influenced that quite a bit. But yeah, I don't think upsets would have the same merit if all they had to do was win 2 games, because you can finesse that. You can have a player really off 1 game and all of a sudden they're down in the series, and if they don't come back and win the next game, then there's your upset. And yeah, the NBA season is just way too long to try to randomize the playoffs. That's the other thing. After you make teams play 82 games, if you get to the playoffs and you've messed with the format so that it's more random, like just say hypothetically there was something like single elimination, now you end up with the Nets and Jazz in the finals, even though the entire regular season said something different. Yeah, no thank you. I honestly save for the way conferences are, I like the NBA's format. I'm good. But hey, that is unpopular, so cheers. With the logic that the media gave Iguodala the Finals MVP in 2015, they should have gave it to Kyrie in 2016. They both were the X factor in the series, but in 2016 they gave it to the best player from the winning team, something they didn't in 2015. Well, the best player in 2015 was LeBron James, and he was on the losing team, and I believe I recall him saying himself if they were to lose a series, he would not want the Finals MVP. I think it's probably pretty rare that any player would want the consolation prize if they didn't get the whole thing. Like, didn't they give Jerry West a car for winning Finals MVP, and then in his book or something, he said he wanted to blow it up? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, for the people, I remember watching 2016, and it did seem like Kyrie had a chance. He was making a case at Finals MVP. Definitely had a case, but also LeBron, I think he led both teams in like every statistical category that year, if I can recall, and it was a 3-1 comeback and his block. I think he was rightfully the Finals MVP. It's like the first thing said, it's circumstantial, so I don't think Iguodala getting it in 15 and then LeBron in 16 is much related. But to show you what Finals MVPs mean, that is probably going to be the thing that one day helps Iguodala into the Hall of Fame. If they win a 4th title this year and he's got a USA gold medal and a Finals MVP, it gets kind of difficult to argue that that is not basketball Hall of Fame worthy. Game 7 should be at a neutral location. Hell no. But hey, it's unpopular. But hell no. That alone would forever ruin the purpose of home court advantage. If a team works hard all season so that could be the deciding factor, is having a Game 7 in the finals on your home floor. Most teams win those. So the 2010 finals is the best finals of the last 20 years. I had to think about that, and it probably is. Think about from the year 2000 to 2004, so all of those were not amazing. The 05 finals was a good Game 7 series between the Pistons and Spurs, so okay, there's that. 06, of course, you have Dwayne Wade's amazing series. That was a nice series between the Mavericks and the Heat, but I still think 2010 was better. Definitely better than 08 and 09 and 07, of course. And then you get to 2011, also an entertaining series. Very close to 2010 in my opinion. Anything that happened like 2015 and up is not in this discussion so far. Of course, you have 2019 is happening right now, and that might be a great series, but in that span of 2015 to 2018, nothing there would come close to 2010. 2014 was an epic waxing. 2012, good series, but quick 5 games. So then that brings you, I think 2013, I'm sorry, when I was talking about 2015, I disregarded 2016. I think the argument for this would be between 2010, 2013, and 2016. I would say the thing that people have forgotten about 2013 though is that there were really only 3 great games in that. Games 1, 6, and 7 were basically all we remember about that series. Games 2 through 5 were all blowouts. But it also has one of the greatest moments in history with Game 6 and then Game 7. Those were both 2 extremely good games, so just off the weight of those alone, they're definitely in the conversation. And then, again, yeah, 2016. People have totally forgotten that Game 4 and Game 7 were the only competitive games out of that whole series. Other than that, they just took turns waxing each other. Golden State waxed the first 2, Cleveland got number 3. And then, okay, I'm sorry, Game 5 also when LeBron and Kyrie, that was competitive for a good while, and then they pulled away at the end. But 2010, in my opinion, was one of the only ones that was like consistently great throughout almost the whole thing. In that series, the only non-entertaining games were Game 1 and Game 6. That was an incredible series and an incredible Game 7. So you can argue that 2016 and 2013 might have had some more iconic and better games. But I think as far as a whole series, this might be right. 2010 might actually be the best finals since the year 2000. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section. That one might come down to preference. Last week we had that if Kawhi won this championship and the Finals MVP, I believe, they said that he would already be ranked above KD all time. I'm not sure if anybody said whether they really agreed with that or not, but this one says if Kawhi wins the Finals, he's above Steph and KD in ranking all time and current. I feel like this take connects to this one right here. This one says that Steph Curry has never won a meaningful finals. First one, Kyrie and Love got hurt, and KD, they had KD the rest. And I know that's probably a popular opinion. People feel like a lot of what the Warriors have done has been by way of a very blessed and easy path. So if Kawhi were to win this championship and this is over Steph Curry, would that already put Kawhi with 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, 2 rings that people deem meaningful, and 2 Finals MVPs? Would that rank him above Steph all time already? Because people feel like Steph's championships, the 3 that he has, aren't that valuable. That's difficult because we've also seen Steph's individual greatness, and he also has the 2 MVP awards, which are not you can't say anything about those being flukes. One of those, he came back and won unanimous. I don't know, I think especially out of pure hatred, people might give you KD, maybe. I don't think they're gonna say Claw is already above Steph. That also goes back to a discussion me and my co-host were having on the podcast, and that one's gonna drop today, nobody's seen it yet. But it was basically where I was saying if Kawhi Leonard's stoic personality really affects his stock, because if he was a bit louder and a bit more marketable, maybe people would notice him more, maybe that would affect his ranking, maybe people would put him, maybe they'd be more likely to put him above Steph after this year if the Raptors do go on to win. Yeah, that's an entirely different conversation, but it leads right into this one. It says Kawhi will be top 15 all time if the Raptors win. God damn, top 15? Well, okay, I guess that goes right with Curry and Durant. People probably already have them pretty close to top 10, correct? If they're being unbiased, Steph and KD are definitely not that far out of top 15, so if you're thinking that Kawhi is going to leapfrog any of them anytime soon, then I guess he would be close to top 15. But wow, already, that gets kind of hard to wrap your mind around. Like, I don't know, let's go ahead and move to this last one because this is totally related, and this is something I did a barbershop talk on a couple of months ago. It says, many years from now, Kevin Durant's titles won't be viewed as so tainted, they'll just be rings. So I follow this guy on Twitter, and he was talking about how he was I don't know, I guess teaching 9th graders or something like that, something with 9th graders, and he was posting tweets of like their basketball discussion and things that they were saying about certain players like LeBron and Steph, and the things that they were saying already shows like the more younger generations come up who haven't watched this what's going on right now as intently, they're just not going to know as much, period, unless they take the time to look. That being said, this goes to exactly what I was saying about Kevin Durant 3 months ago, is that I totally believe there's always going to be the thing that floats around. Kevin Durant did this, but at the end of the day, the one thing that stays is records. Records are here long after us. So it's going to be impossible for later generations to feel the same way about this as we do. They might look at it and feel some type of way, but they're never going to feel like us who are actually living through it. So if you just see Kevin Durant in the record book and you see like the amount of points he got, his final stats, all these different stats, and then you see, let's say he stayed with Golden State and had 5 or 6 titles, I think it's going to be nearly impossible for the way we feel today to be strong enough to hold on to where his rings are as tainted as they are now in the future. Because think about it, right now people do like full-on analysis. There's videos out there that show what's actually going on the floor when Kevin Durant is there and why it's so easy for him to score and things like that. But even then, that goes with how strongly we feel about the situation as we're watching him today. I don't think it's going to be that deep, say 15 years, 20 years from now. It's just impossible. If you didn't live through the time, it's impossible. That being said, that reminds me of something I was just discussing with somebody. He definitely wants to make it back for this finals, I think, because could you imagine how crazy it would look if Kevin Durant has, after this year, he has 3 rings, but he didn't even play in the finals for one of them? That just looks crazy. Like, you're a superstar player, superstar MVP player, but somehow you have a championship where you didn't play 1 game in the series. It looks like that's not going to happen anyways, because I hear he is supposed to come back midway through this series, so that sounds like game 3 or game 4 territory. And whatever effect that has, we are going to have to see tomorrow night. Toronto, do yourself a favor, grab game 2, because I don't think, I can't imagine that they want this series tied when KD steps back on the floor. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, comment, and sub, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.